Is this you? Are you an ambitious, high achieving woman who, despite their relative success, recognize the toll that it's taking on you and feel like you're not quite sure how to continue to do what you're doing and not sure how to get off what I would call the hamster wheel? I want to share with you today an exercise for those who know they need or want to make a change in their life, but find it difficult to actually take those steps. And often the reasons are more hidden. They're not so accessible to us. And so we can sort of rattle around and try lots of different things. And, many of my clients will say to me, I've done all the things. I've done all the things, and yet I'm still here. I see you. And what I want to share with you today is a small little step, and it's also a courageous one because that's kind of the space that I rock in is the courage to actually do the things that are hard and challenging and difficult. At least that's what our brain tells us that they are. So the people that work with me, these ambitious, high achieving women, they may even be thinking that they need to keep up the pace that they are because that feels like it's the only path to success. And even though you might sort of, push against that a little bit, it's not the only way to success. I agree. And that's what I'm here to tell you is that what keeps you there is a fear. I suspect it doesn't take you much to sort of drop into right. It's stepping off of that, and I'm not even sure what the stepping off into looks like. Which is the other, quality that sometimes people come with. They say, "I know something needs to change. I'm exhausted, and I've got this amazing career, but everything in my life, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to keep up this pace." So they know something needs to change, but they're not sure exactly what. The truth is that you can live your dreams and desires without all the stress. But it does require that you become aware of the costs and benefits of staying on the hamster wheel. This is where it gets a bit edgy. This is a kind of a confronting experience. But it's the only way, actually, to go from where you are feeling, some distress, some angst, some dis-ease, to actually creating what the very thing is you're longing for. There's no way around this. You need to come to this point. So you can stop listening if you're like, no, I can't do that. Great. It's not a problem. Don't make it a problem. It's just your choice. If, however, you're like, ooh, let me lean in here because there's something more here, then walk along with me here. To make any significant change in your life, one that you want, but are scared to say yes to because the truth is, it requires that you let go of a quote, old way of doing or being and step into something that is unfamiliar. And that is the source of the fear. When you think about leaving the familiar, fear is going to come right up. And that's a normal human response. When your desire for this other becomes greater than the fear of approaching the unfamiliar and letting go of the familiar, that's when you'll make this shift. But how can we help get over that piece, this fear piece? Fear is generated from the nervous system. And so we can't blast through it, right? We can, but what I will tell you is you're going to throw up a lot more defenses. You're not going to be creating from your most authentic self. And that is what the core of what I teach my clients is about. When we create from this place, the truth of who we are, when we create from this place, everything falls in alignment because we are actually living our lives, from our true selves. So, but we still have to meet this fear piece. So we're not going to blast through it, but we can start to acknowledge it. And by just simply acknowledging it, and this little exercise that I'm going to share with you is an acknowledgement of the fear that you see. And that can soften this. Or what I might say to my clients is it helps to dissolve some of that, not by blasting through it, but by actually seeing it. So here's this little exercise. Take a piece of paper and make 2 columns. One is labeled costs, and the other is labeled benefits. And you may have done something similar before with other things. But this is going inside. And then create some uninterrupted time to write down the costs of staying where you are in the same situation, not changing. The thing that you're struggling with, feeling exhausted, waking up in the morning feeling like, oh my gosh, it's another day, or whoo, Friday's arrived, I've got 2 days. And then there's the Sunday night deal that's like, oh my gosh, I'm going back into it. Whatever it is, these are the costs. What does it stop you? How does this impact your life? Not just what are the symptoms, I'm exhausted and whatever, but what does it keep you from actually doing or being in your life? So that's the real question to capture in this cost. How does this staying where you are affect your life? And look at all areas of your life. How we do one thing in our life, we bring it to all parts of our life. So look across your life, relationships, work, home, spirituality, emotional well-being, physical health, all of that. Look across your life and write down what's it keeping my exhaustion keeping me from? What is my poor sleep keeping me from? What is not enough energy keeping me from? Write that down. Then, when you're done that, move to the other column and write down all the benefits of staying where you are. And yes, you heard me right. The benefits. How is staying where you are serving you? This could be a little confronting because we're all about the cost. We're like, oh yeah, it prevents me from doing all these things. But this could be the little needle shifter for you to say, what am I actually getting out of staying where I am? How's it serving me? There might be some stuff that pops up here even thinking about this. I am causing my own stuff. Yep, yes. But don't let that stop you from exploring. Oh, with curiosity, be curious. How is this actually serving me to stay where I am? And it will point you in the direction, the deeper things that keep you where you are. There is a benefit to you to not moving forward. So that these 2 pieces that are helping to keep you kind of stuck on the hamster wheel, when you explore both the costs and the benefits, it will give you access to, and I'm going to be clear, you're going to bump up against the very things that are keeping you there. But that's a good way to do it in order to see the fear, which can help it to dissolve a little bit. By meeting it, by not blasting through it, your nervous system is like, oh, okay, this is just a fun little activity. Make it as a fun activity. In fact, I'd invite you, share this video with a friend, share it to your page, share it with your colleague, and maybe even do it together and have a conversation about it. What did you find? What were the costs that you identified? Share it with a friend. And you may find some other things that, oh yeah, right, I never thought about that. That's true for me too. It also helps to reduce the shame associated, because ultimately this is a choice. You can choose to stay where you are. There's no problem. You can choose to stay where you are. And there you need to learn to wrap your arms around it, to say, okay, this is my choice. I'm choosing all of this. And when you do that, which is also courageous, when you do that, things can shift there too. If you decide to make the move because that's really what you feel called to, you want to thrive, not survive, and no judgment. If you think, gosh, surviving is just what I need to do, then wrap your arms around it. Say yes to it. Because if you keep resisting it, you're going to keep feeling the way you are. If you choose to wrap your arms around this new way of being, that is where things can really change for you. And it's in meeting the fear, because that's really the thing that stops us in our tracks. This little exercise can help you to do that. So it will help you to be clear about what's keeping you on the hamster wheel. And it can also provide you with the inspiration to take action on actually living a life that brings you more joy, inner calm, access to vitality and energy, and a deep sense of fulfillment. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. But I invite you to share this little exercise with a friend, colleague, your community. Okay, have a great weekend. Happy Friday.